Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Sari and this is day 23 of the Simplify Your Life Challenge for 2022. This challenge is based on an ebook by YouTuber muchelleb. I will link both her channel and the ebook in the bar down below. There's also a playlist where you can follow along with this entire series from the beginning. I will link that on the screen. So with that, let's get into day 23 where we reevaluate our commitments. So a couple videos ago, I talked about this book, which is The Life-Changing Magic of Not Giving a Fuck by Sarah Knight. Today, we are back to applying some of the mental decluttering concepts from that book. This is about putting together the pieces of what we've done so far. So thinking about what lights us up, thinking about what we do and don't care about, thinking about where we want to put our money. Remember that the tagline of this book is how to stop spending time with people you don't like, doing things you don't want to do. In short, reevaluate where you are committing your time and cut out the stuff, and yes, people, that you don't care about. If you're like me, your time is the most valuable asset that you have. It is the thing that I have the least of, unquestionably. So why would I want to give it to things I don't even want to be doing? Some stuff is inevitable. Some of it is stuff you just have to do. There's no getting around it. But where you have the latitude to choose, why wouldn't you choose to spend your time on things you want to do, things that you enjoy doing, things that make you happy? I talked about this quite a bit in the Decide What You Do and Don't Care About video, because the things that we decided there directly impact what we're doing here. For example, I hate baby showers. I hate them. I know people say they hate baby showers. Oh no. I hate them. Like, that's not even a strong enough word for the negative feelings I feel towards baby showers. Truly, I have decided to stop going to them. I send a nice gift and a card, and that way I don't have to spend a whole day doing something I see as totally pointless, and my friend or family member still gets a really nice gift for their kid. And they know I'm thinking about them, and everyone wins. You do not have to attend these things. Somebody sending you an invitation to an event does not obligate you to be at that event. We are also today talking about the little stuff in your day. The time-wasting, pointless, mindless, useless activities that you might even not know are taking up your time. Every time someone says to me, I just don't have enough time in my day to do X thing I would really like to do, the first thing I ask them is, where is your time going? And that's what we need to figure out. One, where does your time go? And two, is that where you want it to go, or could you be giving it to something you'd rather be doing? So we're going to start unpacking that now. First, figure out how you're spending your time. To do this, it is best if you literally list out everything you're doing in a day. Better yet, figure out how much time each of those activities actually takes. Most of us actually have no idea how long it takes us to do things, which is why it feels like there are never enough hours in the day. If you think it takes you 20 minutes to get ready, but it actually takes you 45, you're already running behind before you have even started your day. It just compounds from there. Right from the start, you're already 25 minutes behind. And that only gets worse if you're a chronic underestimator. You'll just, by the end of the day, you're like, where did 3 hours of my day go? Well, they were spent. You just didn't think that what you were doing took that many hours. Keeping an accounting of how you spend your time will allow you to better budget that time. And it will allow you to figure out what percentage of your time you spend on things you don't even want to be doing. If you're honest about this, it allows you to understand where you're wasting time on all of those things that you do to procrastinate other tasks or fill time between things, all of which adds up. So here's how we do it. Ask yourself, on a typical weekday, how do I spend my time? The ebook breaks this into time blocks, so 5 a.m. to 9 a.m., 9 a.m. to 1 p.m., 1 p.m. to 5 p.m., 5 p.m. to 10 p.m. You can adjust those to what makes sense for you and your schedule, obviously. I encourage you to get specific with this. Don't just write getting ready for work. Write getting ready for work, 45 minutes. Or better yet, break that into its component parts. Shower, 15 minutes. Picking out clothes, 5 minutes. Getting dressed, 8 minutes. Brushing teeth, 2 minutes, etc. This truly allows you to understand how long it takes to do these things. Also, don't forget to write down. I spent 20 minutes on an unnecessary Google spiral because I got distracted and needed to know something right now. Or someone sent me a post on Instagram and then I looked at that and then I answered them and then I looked at Instagram for 40 minutes because I was in there anyway. You have to be honest about this if you're going to change it. No one is judging you but you, and you're supposed to be judging you here. That is the only way you are going to get better at this. You all hopefully watched my wardrobe video and my makeup declutter video, right? We're all about judging ourselves and trying to overcome. We are admitting and showing some weakness in this challenge, and then we're saying, no more. After you analyze your weekday, do the same thing with your weekend. For most of us, this is where the unstructured time that we're supposed to be getting things done often gets underestimated and overpromised. This is where I know I have the most room for improvement. How not to waste my 48 hours of no work commitments on bullshit that is not serving me, but also how to make sure that I am making time for bullshit that is serving me, like watching some stuff on Netflix at the end of the day because I don't need to be going all the time. Rest is something that you need to factor in. We'll talk about that in a little bit. When all of that is done, break it down on a high level. Where do you spend your time in an average week? I like to use percentages and highlight any days that have recurring commitments. So this shows the balance and which days are more committed than others, which is good to know. Then, once you've audited all of your days, decide what you can stop doing. This is where you have to go back to your list of things you do and don't care about, as well as your moments of light list, and start thinking about how you could reallocate time so you're spending more of it on stuff you like and care about and less on stuff you don't. Also, this is where you will find out where you're not using time as efficiently as you should be and try to shift things around so that you can use that time more productively. So to do this, ask the question, what am I doing in my day-to-day that is not working for me? Here are some examples from the ebook. You get lash extensions touched up every Thursday and you're just not that fussed about it anymore. That saves time and money if you stop. You watch Netflix for 4 hours every night and it's bringing you no value. Maybe fill that time with something that is bringing you value. I do this too, that after a long workday, that's the mental energy that I have. But is there a self-care thing that you could be doing that's not mindlessly watching Netflix? Could you be reading books that you mean to read? Could you be folding laundry and all of those menial tasks that you need to get done around the house instead of watching Netflix or while watching Netflix? Could you be taking up a hobby that is low stakes and low attention, but is something you've always wanted to do? Ask yourself these questions. I think there are ways that we can fill that time that don't require high energy, high input function, but still probably better than mindlessly watching shows we don't care about. You spend an hour on social media when you wake up, and it serves no point, and it sometimes makes your life harder and or worse, and it makes you late or angry or upset to start out your day. Could you instead get an extra hour of sleep? Or could you get up and do some self-care instead? Compare what you're doing in your week to your moments of light list. Can you work on getting more of those little things that make you happy into your day and getting rid of the things that don't? Do more of what makes you happy in the easiest way possible. As Michelle B puts it, cater to your lizard brain. Make it easy to do these things and more difficult to do the things that don't serve you. So here's an example from the ebook that I really like. You eat breakfast on the couch in the mornings, but you know that you love being outside in the early morning to help ground you when you start your day. Can you get a little seat for your backyard so you can sit outside while you eat your breakfast? I think that's a really good example. After all of that, decide what you'll do that integrates more of what lights you up. Similar to when we looked at high value versus low value spend in the last video, there's also a list in the ebook of most effective and least effective ways to spend our time. These are different for all of us, depending on what you care about and your moments of light list. But here are a few broad guidelines in the ebook to get you thinking about it. Doing what makes your life more convenient. So setting up systems to automate the little chores in your life. This is where the automating your spending helped. The routines to clean and pick up and put away your house. The wardrobe planning. Get it done before you have to make the decision. Decide that when you have your mental energy. Meal prep ahead of time if you're one of those people. Just these little things that make it easy for you to grab and go or have the things done when you don't have the time and the mental energy to do it. Doing what you know makes you happier. So items on your moments of light list. Doing things you've always wanted to do. Doing what makes you feel alive. Doing what makes your brain feel like it is growing. Doing what increases your overall health. Doing what takes you closer to where you want to be in your life. Doing what brings you closer to the people who matter to you. Doing what gives you more time to do what you love doing. So the example in the ebook is working on a high impact project to bring in more income so that you can eventually quit your day job. Here are the less effective ways to spend your time. Doing things you don't want to do, but feel obligated to do. Doing things that you don't enjoy and don't need to do. Doing something solely to impress other people. Doing things that consistently produce no results. Doing busy work that isn't achieving anything. Having meetings with no action items or goals. Doing things that you know will make you feel worse when they are done or at the end of the day. Doing things that don't set you up for success. Doing things that make you feel negative emotions. Getting sucked into a social media spiral. Getting sucked into a TV spiral. Learning things you know you aren't going to put into action. Once you've done all of this, follow through. Make the changes. Start small with the one or two things that seem easiest. Don't try to change everything in how you spend your life all at once. For advice on implementing these changes, I recommend another book by Sarah Knight, Get Your Shit Together, which is how to stop worrying about what you should do so you can finish what you need to do and start doing what you want to do. Super helpful. I also own this in physical copy and audiobook, and I still decided to keep the physical copy because that's how good this book is. You have to break these things down. Start small and commit, knowing that it's really only when we change what we do daily that we will ever change our lives. This is also very hard. I understand and appreciate that. I am a very good time waster, and I'm also a very big underestimator, but it's interesting because so many of the things that I see as a quote-unquote waste of my time are actually things that I like doing because I just have too many things that I like doing. And so it's very hard for me to think through some of this stuff and say, okay, is that really truly important? What is the level of importance of this thing compared to this thing? And how much of your time should you be spending? It's always really interesting to audit your time of like, oh, I definitely thought it only took me 15 minutes to like get ready to shower, dry off, put all of my skincare on, etc. But it actually takes like 25 start to finish. Good to know. Is there a way I can change that? Because that's a lot of time. So figuring out that stuff is really important, and it's kind of eye-opening. So I really encourage you to do it as much as you can. This is something I alluded to earlier that I'm going to talk about here. You have to also schedule time for your hobbies. You have to schedule time for resting. Because if you don't schedule time for those things, you're never going to do that. So I have a personal policy that no matter what my list of highly productive stuff I need to get done today is, I stop doing it at 8 p.m. and I watch something on Netflix or Disney Plus or Plex or whatever, and I knit, and I do that until I get ready for bed at 9 or 9:30. Like, that hour to hour and a half, that is my time to just unwind and decompress. It's scheduled into my day. And you have to do that because if you don't, all of the seemingly high-level, productive, etc. stuff will take over, and you're never going to give your brain and your body a break, and all that does is cause you stress. So, make sure that you're building that into your day as well. That is super important. As people, we need to rest. We need to have times where our brains and our bodies are not going nonstop full out, or we will burn ourselves out. Hobbies and time to chill and do nothing and self-care should absolutely be on your list of ways I'm spending my time. And if they are not, find something to cut so that you can get them on there. I promise you that it might feel like you're quote unquote wasting time if you're like me and need to have some productive result to show from every action that you take. But it's not, because it is a productive result because you're taking care of yourself. And that is the most productive thing you can do, because you cannot do any of the rest of this stuff if you're not taking care of your health and your emotions and your well-being. So, let me know how you're doing. Let me know how you're feeling. Was this hard for you? What things did you cut? Was it easy to cut things, or were you just like, I need to do all of this stuff? I doubt that you need to do all of it, but I'm this person, so I hear you. And I see you, and I support you, but we don't need to do all of it. Just let me know. Share some tips that you have for how to integrate downtime into your day in a useful way that isn't just mindlessly wasting time that you're supposed to be spending on something else, but also gives you space for self-care. How do you make sure that you're not only doing the rest self-care things when you could be doing other things that serve you better? How do we find that balance? Curious to know all of your thoughts on this. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up. And if you want to hear more about all of these things, hit the subscribe button and the notification bell. And I will talk to you in the next one. Bye.